Hey everyone, and welcome to a Guiding Light 901 Online. Today, we're going to be diving into something that I think could really resonate with a lot of you.
Okay.
And it is the a Guiding Light AA Daily Journal.
Mm.
If you are on a journey of personal growth,
Hmm.
and especially if the idea of recovery speaks to you,
Right.
um, this deep dive is for you.
Yeah, and what I think is interesting about this is how it blends, the everyday practice of journaling
Yeah?
with these powerful insights from AA and recovery literature. It's like a bridge between personal reflection and, a shared wisdom tradition.
That's right. And we've got excerpts from the journal itself, along with kind of the marketing copy
Mm.
to really get a feel for it. Record your road to recovery, that's their tagline. And it got me thinking,
Yeah.
have you ever considered journaling as part of your growth process?
That tagline is spot on. It captures this idea of journaling as a way to not just document your journey, but
Yeah.
to actively create it,
Mm.
to heal, reclaim your life, find that spiritual well-being. It's all there in the description.
Okay, so let's unpack that a little bit.
Yeah.
Um, for someone who's totally new to this, why is journaling seen as so valuable, particularly in the context of recovery? What's the magic formula here?
So imagine this. You're going through a tough time,
Yeah.
facing difficult emotions,
Hmm.
maybe wrestling with past experiences or negative thoughts. A journal becomes that safe space
Yeah.
where you can pour all of that out without judgment. It's like having a heart-to-heart with yourself, where honesty and vulnerability are key.
That makes total sense. It's like getting all the noise out of your head and onto the page, giving you
Yes,
some breathing room.
exactly. And when you see those thoughts and feelings in writing, something interesting happens. You might start noticing patterns,
Ugh.
recognizing triggers,
Okay.
getting a deeper understanding of yourself and your path.
Mm.
It's like those aha moments when the fog clears a bit.
Yeah, and the journal's description talks about healing, reclaiming your life,
Mm.
finding spiritual well-being. Those ideas feel pretty universal, right?
Yeah.
Like they go beyond just formal AA and could resonate with anyone striving for personal growth.
Absolutely. While the journal is definitely grounded in AA philosophy, those core principles, self-reflection, gratitude, taking things one day at a time,
Yeah,
they're universally applicable.
right.
It's about cultivating a positive mindset regardless of your background.
Now let's talk logistics.
Yeah.
This journal provides 2 full 6 by 9 lined pages for each daily entry. That's a lot of space.
That's a lot of space.
I'm picturing myself with this journal, and I'm already wondering, like, what could someone actually fill those pages with? It feels like a blank canvas, almost intimidating.
That's where your creativity comes in. Think of it as an invitation to explore. You could use those pages to track your emotions, jot down your progress, list things you're grateful for, work through tricky situations, even brainstorm goals for the future. It's
Wow.
like a playground for your inner world.
I love that. So it's not just about what's printed in the journal, but what you bring to it,
Yeah.
your own unique story.
Yeah.
Now, speaking of inspiration, let's dive into some of the quotes that are sprinkled throughout this journal. They're not just random sayings. They're like little nuggets of wisdom that can really spark some reflection. Okay, let's do it.
Okay.
Some of these quotes really jumped out at me. For example, there's one from Bill Wilson,
Mhm.
the co-founder of Alcoholics Anonymous. I am responsible.
Ooh.
It's so simple. Yeah. But it stopped me in my tracks.
That strikes me about that quote is the sense of ownership it encourages.
Mm.
It's easy to fall into the trap of blaming external factors for our struggles.
Yeah.
But this quote pulls us back to our own agency. It's a reminder that we have the power to choose our actions and reactions,
Mhm.
even in the face of challenges.
It's like taking back control.
Right.
Recognizing that we have a say in how we respond to life's curveballs.
Exactly. And that idea of taking responsibility isn't just limited to recovery from addiction. It's relevant for anyone facing a challenge,
Right.
whether it's a personal setback, a career obstacle, or a relationship issue.
And I think that's a good point to remind everyone that if this is sounding interesting, this Guiding Light AA Daily Journal is available on Amazon.
Oh, great.
You can grab a copy and start your own journaling journey.
Yeah.
And of course, don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more deep dives
Yes.
into all sorts of interesting topics. Now let's get back to those quotes.
Okay.
Another one that stood out to me was from the Just for Today meditation. My recovery must come first, so that everything I love in life doesn't come last.
Wow.
It's a powerful reminder about prioritizing our well-being. Sometimes it feels selfish to put ourselves first, you know?
Yeah.
But this quote flips that script. It's saying that by taking care of ourselves, we're actually in a better position to
Yes.
show up for the people and things we care about.
It's like that oxygen mask analogy on airplanes. You have to put your own mask on first before you can help others.
That's a great analogy. So it's not selfish. It's actually the most responsible thing you can do. And there's another Bill Wilson quote that really hit me. Sobriety is a journey, not a destination.
Mm.
I think a lot of us can relate to that,
Yeah.
even if it's not about sobriety specifically.
Oh, absolutely. That quote reminds us that personal growth is an ongoing process.
Yeah.
Not a finish line you cross and then you're done. There's no magical point where we've arrived.
Right.
It's about continuous learning, evolving, and becoming the best versions of ourselves.
And that can be a relief, too,
Right.
right? Like taking the pressure off of needing to be perfect
Mm-hmm.
and instead embracing the journey with all its twists and turns.
Exactly. And it brings in this idea of self-compassion. We're all works in progress.
Yeah.
And it's okay to have setbacks, to
Well,
stumble, to get back up and keep going.
Speaking of finding support on that journey, there's a quote from Cumberland Heights that really resonated with me. They say you need newcomers to tell you where you came from, old-timers to tell you where you could go, and a sponsor to tell you where you are at. It paints such a vivid picture of the role of community and mentorship.
It's a beautiful reminder that we don't have to go it alone, isn't it?
Yeah.
There's a whole network of people who understand what we're going through and can offer guidance and support.
It makes me think about how seeking out those connections, whether it's a therapist, a support group, or trusted friends and family,
Right.
can be such a powerful force for healing and growth.
It's about recognizing that vulnerability and asking for help are strengths, not weaknesses.
Okay, get ready for this next quote
Okay.
because it packs a punch. Recovery didn't open the gates of heaven and let me in. Recovery opened the gates of hell and let me out. Whoa, right.
Yeah.
That imagery is intense.
It's definitely evocative. What are your thoughts on that one?
For me, it speaks to the profound transformation that recovery represents. It's not just about stopping a harmful behavior. It's about escaping a state of suffering and finding a path to freedom and wholeness.
That's a beautiful way to put it. It highlights the strength and resilience it takes to pull yourself out of a dark place and step into the light. It's about reclaiming your life and choosing hope over despair.
It's definitely not sugarcoating the challenges, but it also offers a sense of possibility of moving from darkness into light.
Yeah, you know, the idea of escaping a dark place makes me think about another quote from the journal.
Okay.
It says, practical experience shows that nothing will so much ensure immunity from drinking as intensive work with other alcoholics.
That really highlights the power of community, doesn't it? Like, you're not alone in this fight.
Right.
Having people who understand what you're going through can be such a game changer.
It's about finding strength in shared experience, right?
Yeah.
Knowing that others have walked a similar path and come out on the other side.
Yeah.
It's like a beacon of hope.
And this journal really embraces that sense of community by weaving in wisdom
Yes.
from, various voices within the recovery world. It's not just one perspective. It's a chorus of experience.
And, even if someone isn't formally involved in AA, that idea of seeking support and guidance from others is still incredibly valuable.
Yeah.
Whether it's a therapist, a support group, a mentor, or even trusted friends and family,
Right.
those connections can be crucial for growth and well-being.
There's a quote in the journal that captures that feeling of leaning on a higher power, especially when facing a new day. It says, Lord, in the past several hours, I have not hurt anyone. I have not drank. I have peacefully coexisted with life. For that, I am grateful. But I'm about to get out of bed now, and I'm going to really need your help.
It made me chuckle.
Oh, yeah.
But also, it's so real.
It's that blend of humor and humility, isn't it?
Right.
Recognizing that we need help,
Right.
but also acknowledging the progress we've made. It's like starting each day with a fresh slate and a dose of honesty.
It's like saying, okay, universe, I did my best yesterday, but today's a new challenge. Let's do this together.
And speaking of choosing our words carefully, there's another quote that caught my eye. Nothing pays off like restraint of tongue and pen.
Ah, yes. A reminder to be mindful of our communication. It's about choosing kindness and avoiding gossip or negativity. It's a practice in self-awareness and consideration for others.
It's so easy to get caught up in complaining or venting. But this quote reminds us that words have power. They can either build up or tear down.
And you know, that idea of mindfulness is reflected in one of the acronyms highlighted in the journal, HOW. Honesty, open-mindedness, and willingness.
Those three qualities feel like the foundation for any kind of personal growth, don't they? Being honest with ourselves about our
Yeah.
struggles,
Yeah.
open to new perspectives and approaches, and willing to put in the work to change.
It's about showing up with a beginner's mind,
Right.
ready to learn and grow. And it makes me think about how, even though this journal is steeped in AA philosophy,
Mm-hmm.
the act of journaling itself can be beneficial for anyone, regardless of their background. Would you agree?
Absolutely. The simple act of putting pen to paper or fingers to keyboard can be incredibly therapeutic. It
Yes.
allows us to process emotions, untangle thoughts, and gain clarity. It's like having a conversation with ourselves, but on paper.
And with this journal, you're not starting with a completely blank page. You have these prompts, these quotes
Mm-hmm.
to spark reflection and guide you along the way. Plus, you get those 2 full pages per day, so there's plenty of space to explore your inner world.
Speaking of inspiring quotes, there's one that really struck a chord with me. It is the great paradox of AA, that we know we can seldom keep the precious gift of sobriety unless we give it away.
Oh, wow.
It's about the power of helping others, of paying it forward.
It's a beautiful reminder that our own healing is often intertwined with the well-being of others.
Yeah,
By sharing our experiences and supporting those who are struggling,
right.
we not only contribute to their growth, but also strengthen our own resolve.
It's like that ripple effect, right?
Mm.
Kindness and compassion have a way of spreading outward. And it makes me think about how, even if we're not in recovery ourselves, finding ways to be of service to others can bring a sense of purpose and fulfillment to our lives.
It's about recognizing our interconnectedness and finding ways to make a positive impact on the world around us.
Now, there's a quote in here that I think a lot of people can relate to, even if they've never struggled with addiction.
Okay.
Insanity is doing the same thing over and over again, but expecting different results. It's a classic,
Yeah.
but it always makes me stop and think.
It's a challenge to break free from those ingrained patterns, isn't it? It's a call to step outside our comfort zones and try new approaches if we want to see real change.
And
It's about being willing to experiment, to fail, to learn, and to keep growing.
it's about embracing the messy, imperfect process of personal growth. And, speaking of taking action and helping others, there's a quote that really embodies that spirit. Our very lives, as ex-problem drinkers, depend upon our constant thought of others and how we may help meet their needs. It's a powerful statement about shifting our focus outward.
It's about recognizing that our well-being is often tied to the well-being of others.
Mm-hmm.
When we focus on helping others,
Mm-hmm.
we often find a deeper sense of meaning and purpose in our own lives.
And sometimes it's about remembering to lighten up and not take ourselves too seriously.
Yeah.
There's a quote in here that says, "Remember rule number 62. Don't take yourself too seriously."
I love that.
That's great.
It's a permission slip to laugh at ourselves and embrace our imperfections.
That's such a great reminder. We can get so caught up in striving for perfection,
Yeah.
in trying to control every aspect of our lives,
Right.
that we forget to enjoy the ride.
Mm-hmm.
A little bit of self-deprecating humor can go a long way in maintaining perspective.
It's about finding that balance between self-awareness and self-acceptance. It's okay to acknowledge our flaws and work on improving ourselves,
Yeah.
but it's also important to embrace our quirks and imperfections.
And while we've been focusing on the inspirational quotes, it's worth noting that this journal also offers practical advice for staying sober. Absolutely. There's a quote that gets right to the heart of it. Remember that the reason you're doing this is to make your life better.
Ooh.
It's so simple, yet so profound. It's a reminder that recovery is about creating a happier, healthier, and more fulfilling life.
It's about remembering your why.
Mm-hmm.
Why are you choosing this path? What are you hoping to gain?
Right?
It's about staying connected to your values and your vision for the future.
And sometimes it all starts with that first step. There's a quote that says, the first step towards getting somewhere is to decide that you are not going to stay where you are. It's about making a conscious choice to change.
Yeah.
And then taking action.
It's about moving from a state of inertia to a state of intention. And that principle applies to any area of life where we want to see growth or improvement.
Mm-hmm.
We have to first decide that we're ready for something different,
Yeah.
and then take those first steps toward making it happen.
And it's about remembering that we are not defined by our past mistakes. There's a beautiful quote in here that says, "We all make mistakes, have struggles, and even regret things in our past. But you are not your mistakes. You are not your struggles, and you are here now with the power to shape your day and your future. It's a message of hope and resilience.
It's about letting go of shame and guilt and embracing the present moment as an opportunity for growth. It's about focusing on our strengths and our ability to choose a different path moving forward.
And, while we've covered a lot of ground in this deep dive, we've only just scratched the surface
Mm.
of what this journal has to offer.
Mhm.
There are so many more inspiring quotes
Yeah.
and thought-provoking prompts waiting to be discovered.
If you're looking for a tool to support your personal growth journey, I highly recommend checking out the A Guiding Light AA Daily Journal. You can find it on Amazon.
And before we wrap up this part of our deep dive, we want to remind you to subscribe to our channel for more explorations into all sorts of fascinating topics.
Uh.
But don't go anywhere yet, because we've got more to share about this amazing journal. We'll be right back with the final part of our deep dive.